Hey everybody, my name is Buzz. They call me Wannabe. Today we're going to talk about the lock nut of a Floyd Rose and why we have issues at that point. And then we're going to talk about a viewer's question, which was, who is the best female guitarist around? So hang along, go. I can't speak very well. Hang on, let's see what happens. All right, so the first thing is I am playing through my Head Rush Prime. I went from the Head Rush series to the Head Rush Prime. What a huge improvement. To go to the Prime, you actually, because in the Head Rush, they have their amps and then you use IRs to flavor it. Now with the Prime series, you can download other people's amps, and we've got super amps if you look into that. There's lots of videos on YouTube about it. This is a huge step up to sounding the way you want to sound. So if you're looking to get something, maybe even look to get the small Head Rush Prime, $4.99 right now, brand spanking new. It has all the features of the Head Rush Prime without like having a microphone plugged in so you can play and sing and have a bass player at the same time, you know, all that kind of stuff. So if you're just simple, you playing, want good sound, look into the Head Rush, I think it's Head Rush Core Prime. Real small, but it still has an expression pedal in it, which is something that I love. Some of the packs that I have purchased that are really good, Chop Tones has some really good general stuff. So Chop Tones does a lot with Head Rush Prime. Make sure when you're buying, you go for the Head Rush Prime, because that'll have the actual simulated amps, not just IRs with what the Head Rush amps are. So huge increase there. And the Boutique Tones, I just downloaded the Mezzabarba amp and I'm playing with it, and that's what I'm playing right now, is completely and totally clean. I'm having some fun. So, you know, I think on a good clean tone, if you get a solid bass, you can go anywhere with it. You can EQ it the way you want. You can add, like I've got a spring reverb I was playing with to make it more sound more like the 60s and stuff. But if you have a good clean tone, you can go anywhere from there. So I was just over here, I don't even know why I don't have a pick, but you know, you're playing your Love Rears Its Ugly Head, which the simple version is. If you want to play with full chords, you play the 7th and you go. I can't play with my fingers. And you're like, Buzz, you can't play with your fingers or without your fingers, so why does it matter? Obviously, all of my guitars push, pull, split coils on all my DiMarzio pickups. That's kind of a standard. Okay, so let's talk about Floyd Rose nuts. When you get a cheap Floyd Rose, and you get those ones from China, and we're going to get some high definition pictures so I can make sense of this. You have 3 lock nuts. They have a screw down the middle and then a pad underneath. And the pad basically locks against the strings, so anything you do up here, anything you do down here, it stays locked. So if you dive bomb, it can't come unwound, and now when you pull it up, you're way high. That way you lock here, so all of your dive bombs and stuff shouldn't be changing your pitches when you come back to standard. Now, the Chinese ones, what you have is the pad that's in the middle will swivel back and forth because it's not perfectly sized. So what's going to happen is as you tighten it, it's going to turn a little bit in the recess. Let's say you got E and A. You go to lock it in, and you're locking it in, and then at the very end it turns. Now your E is way too sharp and your A is way too flat, because what it did is it actually pinched the strings down, and as it moved this string this way and this string this way with the pad. That's why you want to get ones that sit nice and tight. So there's 2 ways you can do this. You can go buy a pad that fits perfectly in your receiver. You can buy a whole new receiver. And once you get online, you learn what a difference between a 42 and a 43 and all this stuff is. The problem is a lot of times they're different heights this way, and you put a new one on and it'll be too far away from your first fret height-wise, or it'll lay on your first fret because it's too short. It's easier just to get the blocks that fit right in there. But let's say we don't do that. Let's say we don't want to spend the 15, 20 bucks. When that thing goes like that, grab your wrench, and I'm going to show you, I might be able to get it with cameras, I don't know, I might just have to do it with photos. Back it off a little bit and let it swivel back. Don't unlock it. So we're locked, and then the last little bit kind of twisted it. Just undo the last little bit, even if you can't see it. Play with your tuner, and you can watch, okay, that one now went back flatter because it went sharp. Now it's back flat, and this one went back. And then make your fine adjustments here, then go on to your next string. But you tighten it, okay, you're looking at your tuner, it went a little bit, so you just back it off. Not enough to undo it, but just back it off a little bit, and that'll get those strings back in the right tension. That's the way to deal with a really cheap Chinese Floyd Rose copy. Now we're going to talk about string trees. String trees, which sit right here and push down on the strings, and people say, you don't need a string tree if you have a kickback headstock. That can be true and it can be false. String trees, some of the kickback headstocks don't kick back so far that the strings lay completely flat over the Floyd Rose nut. Now I'm going to try to get the camera and get some pictures of this, so hopefully I'll get it and won't have to do it in just photos, but hopefully I'll get some actual video images of it. But let's take somebody without a kickback headstock. Let's grab our Steve Brown guitar that we just did. Let's make sure our Steve Brown guitar works. Okay, it works. We're going to look at this string tree, and let me get some good images of it. And I don't know how I'm going to set up a camera to catch this, but let me tell you the concept first. If your string tree is not high enough, so let's say here's the curve of your Floyd Rose. If the front of your strings are touching your Floyd, obviously because that's the fret side, they're going to leave here. That's basically your 0th fret. And then the strings are up off of the surface of the Floyd here, of the Floyd nut. When you tighten this thing down, all your strings are going to go sharp. Why? Because now you're putting more tension on them, because it's going to take more tension to get those strings flat down. So when you're setting your string tree, when you get your guitar, take all the nuts off the Floyd, sit and look at your strings on that Floyd pad. Tighten the string tree down until the strings lay flat all the way across the pad of the Floyd. This is the Floyd Rose nut. The strings go across the Floyd. Obviously, they have to touch here because that's your 0 fret. There's your 1st fret, 0 fret, and that's where everything gets held. When you look, hopefully this is in focus enough to see it, the string is tight on this side and the string is not tight on this side. So let me grab the string and show you. The string does not lay across the nut. So when you take your pad and you screw it down, as you screw it down, that string is going to bend and go flat against the nut. Because it was up and now it's down, it's going to be tighter. So that string is going to go higher in pitch. So you're going to get everything in tune, and you're going to screw them down, and it's going to go higher in pitch, and all your strings are going to do that, because all the strings, if you look, are not laying against the Floyd Rose nut. That's why we have string trees, and that's why we know how to adjust string trees. Adjust that string tree until the string is laying flat against the nut. Once it is, then when you take your block and screw it down, it's not making the string go higher, so you're not going to get a higher pitch. So you're not going to go out of tune when you tighten your block down. So let's take this real quick, and this is impossible. Holding the guitar, holding the camera, and trying to adjust the string tree at the same time. But adjust that string tree down. You can adjust them down too far, that's fine. You just can't adjust them not far enough. And if you keep them level with the radius of the neck, if you get the high E in, your low E is going to be in and vice versa. This one needs a little bit more to get it all the way flat across the Floyd. Some people don't like string trees. They do not adjust your tone. They do not adjust anything except for making the nut on your Floyd Rose happy. When you get a Floyd Rose, you've got 3 of these on a 6 string. 8 strings sometimes have 4, and then the 7 string has one that's extra wide. You have, when you look at the side, kind of looks like a pyramid. That pyramid makes a line across the top side of the Floyd Rose lock. That line needs to go parallel with the strings. If that line is not going parallel with the strings, you have it wrong. Why? When you flip it upside down, you've got a dish this way, and it's locking the strings here, and it's locking the strings here. If you put it this way, it pushes the strings toward the center, and you won't get a solid lock. So we get it here, locks here, locks here. That line of your pyramid needs to go with the string. So if the guitar were here, it would be going this way. All right, so that's done kind of, which it's not because I'm going to do all the camera stuff after this, but it'll be before this in the video. I was asked in an email, private message, whatever it was, who's the best female guitarist? I hate that question. We talked about it a little last time. There's no such thing as the best guitarist. This is not an Olympic sport. This is music. This is art. So let me restructure it and say, who's my favorite female guitarist? Now, I still don't like this question. The reason I don't like this question is I don't think there's a difference between female guitarists and male guitarists. There's guitarists. There's people that play the guitar. I don't have a favorite short guitarist or a favorite tall guitarist. I don't have a favorite fat guitarist or skinny guitarist. I just see guitarists. And I know certain people don't. And I know there are certain artists out there that are getting accolades because they're very pretty. They're aesthetically pleasing, and so they get a lot of views on YouTube and people know their name. But let's talk about, I guess, female guitarists. Neely Broche. I like her playing. I like her writing. She's kind of a double threat. She can play, she can sit back and play with any band. I mean, she's playing the Cirque du Soleil stuff. She's playing with Brendan Smalls one time, and then over here, playing with all these different bands. She can sit back or she can be in front. She writes great of her own music, her own guitar instrumental stuff. She's a great technical player, and she plays everybody's stuff with a lot of authenticity. When she's playing Nuno, it sounds like Nuno. When she's playing this or that, it sounds like that. So she's got that really well. Now, is she pretty? Yes. That may be helping her, but she's just a great player. And she's not a great female player. She's a great player. I will put her with a lot of the good male guitarists, standard guitarists, tall guitarists, short guitarists. Some other people that I've seen in concert that I really like, Anita Strauss. Nita is very good technically. She's got drive. She's got personality. She goes out there and gets gigs that people don't even attempt to get. I've got her albums. They're great. Again, great technical player. She looks good too, which probably doesn't hurt. Joanne, she got married name, Joanne Taylor. So I went and saw her. She's a great blues guitarist. I saw her actually at the Musical Instrument Museum, and so she was kind of playing back. She's a little better when she gets raw and dirty and bluesy, but she's a great blues player. Even like some of the Bonnie Raitt's and stuff like that, great players. Why do they have to be a female guitarist? I've seen Jennifer Batten live. Again, good player, lots of interesting techniques, lots of interesting sounds, lots of interesting things she does on the guitar. But I don't know why. I don't know why we have to divide everybody. I don't know why we have to say, male against female. One, before I forget, Tina S, as they call her. If you're talking about technical players, she's one of the finest technical players ever. Male, female, old, young, in between. That girl can play anything, and you watch all of her videos. They're one take, no mistakes, incredible. The stuff she plays is out of this world. All the techniques that she's just got. We sit here and we try to struggle to get one of them. She's got them all, and she's incredible. Now, I do not have her new album. She's got a new band out, and I'd love to hear what she writes, because everything up to this point was other things that were written by others. Again, you don't have to say that she's a great technical female guitarist. She's as good as any of the Andy James and any of the Angel Vivaldis. There might be a few Guthrie Govens that may have some more technical prowess than her, but again, no female guitarist, no male guitarist. One of the things I hate is when people talk about something like Living Colour. Oh, they're a great black rock band. No, they're a great rock band. They belong in the discussions with the greatest rock bands of all times. And the thing that bothers me is I sit here and I cruise through YouTube and I see, whatever happened to Living Colour? They were big in the 80s, and you go, what's the matter with you? They've done 2 albums recently that are every bit as good as the first 2 albums that made them popular. And if you're not willing to go out and see that they're putting out music and they're touring and they're doing everything better than they did back in the 80s and 90s, then you're just stupid. You don't understand art, or you don't care about art. So many of these bands are putting out amazing music. But back to my point, Living Colour isn't the best black rock band. Living Colour is one of the best rock bands. Not black, not white. We don't need separation. We can put them against the Rolling Stones. We can put them against The Who. We can put them against Metallica. We can put them against all that and say they hold their own for what they are. Don't know why people say, oh, what's your favorite black rock band? What? Why? Why the separation? We are way more alike than we are separate. We have way more similarities than we ever will have differences. Why does the media, why does the world always sit here and try to plot us, men versus women, black versus white, tall versus short, this country versus this country? Why can't we just all say, yeah, we're all just human? And okay, maybe I don't like that vein of music that they're playing or this or that, but we don't have to, again, kind of back to what I said in my last one, we don't have to have all the hate. So no, Living Colour is not the greatest black rock band. Living Colour is one of the greatest rock bands to ever live. Tina is one of the greatest and most technical guitar players to ever live, not female guitar players. Some of the other names that I mentioned and even more. I mean, you could go down the list. One of them, because I play Carvin Kiesel stuff, one of them that I know about is Sophie Lloyd. You go watch Sophie's stuff. This girl knows how to set up an amp. She knows how to get great tone. She's got great feel. She's got great technique. Is she very pretty? Yes. Does she play on that? Yes. Do people probably watch her stuff because she is so pretty? Yes. But she's a great guitarist. So, who's the best female guitarist? No such thing. Who's my favorite female guitarist? No such thing. I just like a lot of the female guitarists, and I'll put them right in the same list with the males. Hey, thanks for watching. Let me know what you want me to talk about, or if you're having problems with your guitar, setting it up, making it scream, let me know. Till next time, keep on rocking.